Hey, what's up everybody, Virtua Kazama here, and welcome to the finale of the stage evolution of Virtua Fighter 5. That's right, we have 4 more characters to go over, and on top of that, we also got like 2 bonuses to show off at the end. They're not pretty long, but they are pretty much as I expected. Let me just say this, you're not gonna miss them. You don't want to miss them, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. You don't want to miss any of this. But anyway, I have wasted enough of your time, folks. Let's just get right to it. Enjoy.
I've got the advantage. You've got nothing.
R.E.V.'s reputation as a luchador was spreading in popularity, especially capturing the attention of Judgment 6, who were there as tournament judges. They were impressed with how he defeated every opponent in the light heavyweight division, and his popularity continued to grow. However, he was burned with jealousy and envy as he watched Wolf dominate the heavyweight division, and the only way to solve that issue was to defeat Wolf at the 5th World Fighting Tournament. It's quite common for pro wrestlers to have stages based on arenas in front of a live audience, and well, R.E.V. is no exception. Just like Eileen, R.E.V. made his debut in Virtua Fighter 5. For his stage, it is Arena, which is pretty much a high fence stage. The ring itself is supported by a large platform that is standing in the middle of the ring, and on top of that, you can see a lot of things happening because, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is a very lively stage. I mean, take a look at the stage itself. There's a humongous crowd of people watching the fighters fight in the middle of the ring. There's a bunch of strobe of lights flashing back and forth, and pretty much, again, there's so much happening. There's so much energy that you can feel in this stage when you're fighting. There are 2 Titantrons facing each other, and honestly, it is, again, gives that a feel of what an arena should look like, because, of course, there are the viewers that are watching from afar, and they can't see the fight from close. So that is very common. And on top of that, there are more crowds in the balconies. Like I said, again, so much high energy in this stage. It is incredible. Perhaps the one thing that's interesting about this stage is the LED sign in the background that reads, "Excitement and invigoration are offered to all men." Now, for the longest time, I thought to myself, this was weird. What does it mean? And I thought this was the only game that did this. But upon my research, thanks to someone I found on Twitch, it turns out that same message also appeared in Outrun 2. And honestly, I did not know that. I honestly did not know that. The music for the stage is energetic, and honestly, it does match the feel of the arena itself, in terms of who he is as a pro wrestler. Overall, Arena is a great stage, and it basically has that energetic vibe to it. But how did the stage evolve in VF5R? Arena in VF5R went from a full fence stage to now an octagon stage. So pretty much everything else that I've mentioned about octagon stages with Vanessa also applies to here as well with R.E.V. Aside from the arena changing to octagon stage, there's really not much that needs to be discussed because it is the same stage as before. The only difference is that it's now octagon stage, and the lighting is also different as well. And of course, the arena stage itself, the actual ring, is still on an elevated platform. So again, not much to change. I mean, I guess the one thing we can say is that the searchlights changed color, so it went from being blue to now pink. Yeah, that's really about it. I really don't think there's anything I have to say about this stage, because it is, again, not much has changed. The music for the stage is pretty good. It is actually more fast-paced compared to how it was in vanilla, And it basically conveys the action, the high energy that matches the arena. So pretty much, yeah, that's basically about it. Again, there's really not much I can say about this stage. Despite the minor changes that occur in the stage, Arena is still a solid stage regardless, and I feel like it is better as an octagon stage rather than a full fence. But then again, how did the stage evolve in Final Showdown? Arena in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown is the most unique one out of the four, and there's a reason why that is. First things first, when the match begins, the camera is now facing towards the Titantron, which I thought is a better idea compared to the previous versions. It gives that arena feel, if you catch my drift. Second, take a look at the floor at the bottom. It now has the Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown logo written on the floor, and honestly, I thought that was pretty cool. Third, there's no supporting platform anymore. So basically, it's a large pit, and you know what? I actually like it. It's really, really cool. It feels like the arena rised up through some mechanical function and just straight up raised up to a point where everyone can see the action. And honestly, you know what? I'm okay with that. Also, the Titantron here looks a little bit more closer compared to the other versions, but you know what? I dig it. It's pretty cool. But the coolest thing ever is the LED banner. Now, of course, I already talked about it before, but here's something that you guys don't know, or paid attention to for that matter. In the Japanese arcade exclusive, it is completely different. In the arcade version of Final Showdown, the LED banner acts as a scorekeeper. So basically, it displays the players' names and the score that is being displayed. And honestly, I digged it. I love it. I really love it. And I hope whenever VF6 comes out, it should definitely bring that back to consoles as well. I want to see that. The music for this stage is high energy to the max. And honestly, it is without one of the best songs in Final Showdown, in my opinion. And it really captures the energy of the arena so perfectly. Like, it captures it so well. I gotta say, the Final Showdown version of Arena is one of the best ones so far, and we haven't even got to R.E.V.O yet. So my question is this: how did the stage evolve in VF5 R.E.V.O? Arena in R.E.V.O has a brand new look, and it looks closer to a wrestling ring. Let's take a look at what we got right here. First things first, the logo for the World Fighting Tournament has been officially revealed. It's on the background as well as the floor. And honestly, this might be the new logo going forward for Virtua Fighter 6. On top of that, there's a globe in the background and a door to the left of the screen as well, which you can see right there. And on top of that, the ring itself, the walls, are now covered in chains. The lighting in the stage is pretty much a darker blue this time around, but it's still brighter, and the searchlights are actually now in blue. And honestly, this is actually an incredible stage. Like, the crowd is massive compared to previous versions. The banners in the background now have 4 sponsors this time. So those sponsors are none other than Rumble Region, Dynasty Muscle, Unchained Wrestling, and Burning Rounds. As for the Titantrons in the stage, well, I got something to say about that. 2 years during the Ultimate Showdown era, there were random advertisements that was played in the background. I remember that was a thing. The one that you see in the background right here, well, it's a clip from a music video from Free Nationals, A$AP Rocky, and Anderson .Paak for the song Gangsta. And I'm not gonna lie, I had to go back and look and find the music video, and honestly, the song's pretty good. The back of the stage shows the angel statue on the stage, complete with the entrance up front. So basically, from both the front and back parts of the stage, there's an entrance for both competitors to come inside the ring and do their battle. The music for the stage is incredible. It has that heavy metal energy that you can hear, and honestly, it basically enhances the vibe of the arena. Gotta say though, for R.E.V.O's debut, I gotta hand it to him. He has some great stages. So you know what? Let's just jump right into it right now. If I were to talk about my favorite stages from R.E.V.O in Virtua Fighter 5, it would have to be Final Showdown at number 1 because of the arcade version, R.E.V.O at number 2, Vanilla at number 3, and R at number 4. As for music, R.E.V.O at number 1, Final Showdown at number 2, Vanilla at number 3, and R at number 4.
My body is an unstoppable weapon. 可愛がってやるぜ。
I know what everyone else is thinking. Why did I put Taka this far into the video and not with Aoi since they both debuted in VF3? The answer is because of Taka's physics, which caused him to miss 4 games, so VF5R will be his re-debut into the series after being absent for over a decade. The best thing about explaining Taka's absence through his story is genius because he was an undefeated sumo wrestler who took pride in the sport as he entered the third tournament, only to get humbled because he had zero knowledge of his opponent's fighting styles, which led him to a deep depression. But he regained that motivation thanks to a sumo coach that used to work in the stable, and he got his fighting spirit back as he competed in his sport once again. That motivation was so powerful, he decided to bounce out of the grand finals on his tournament, only to join the 5th World Fighting Tournament. I already talked about Taka-Arashi in my channel, so pretty much if you want to see that video, I'll link it in the description below. Just watch it. It is a great video, and it's pretty insightful if you ask me, because again, it is crazy that he had missed a couple games due to his physics. It is wild. Since Taka is a sumo wrestler, it will be naturally appropriate if his stage took place in a sumo hall, compared to the sumo training mountains that he had in Virtua Fighter 3. And let's take a look at that right now. Sumo Ring is Taka's stage in Virtua Fighter 5R. It is a traditional open stage, and of course, it is based on the, I'm going to butcher this one, the Ryogoku Gokuikikan Arena in Tokyo, Japan. The Sumo Hall is iconic as the Budokan Hall as well as Tokyo Dome. And since this one specializes in sumo, it also holds other events such as pro wrestling, esport events, concerts, you name it, they've done it. It is that iconic. But I gotta be honest, Sega really did their homework on Sumo Hall. Like, it looks exactly like the real thing, in a sense. And again, they have done a great job capturing it. And there's a little bit of details that you can definitely take a look at. When you start the match, you'll see that there are barrels of sake in the background, which is pretty common in sumo wrestling. There are colorful banners on the wrestlers that are shown inside the crowd, and in the back you can definitely see an electric scoreboard just like in the actual sumo hall itself, which they keep score about ring outs and stuff like that. On this side right here you get to see the trophies that are hanging right behind the crowd, and on top of that, you want to experience the real experience? Well, you can also see the crowd up front as well, sitting in front row, getting a good view of the fight. If you look up top, the portraits of previous winners are shown on top, and they're all Taka. Yeah, all of them are Taka. Another thing worth mentioning is that when the match ends in a ring out, KO, or draw, the cameras flash in the audience. Like, it is a nice attention to detail right there. And the music for this stage really fits the fighting spirit of a sumo wrestler. Like, it is intense, strong, just powerful in its own way. Sega really did their homework with this stage right here, and they added some of its originality to it as well, which is incredible. But how did Sumo Ring evolve in VF5 Final Showdown? Sumo Ring in Final Showdown gets a much needed redesign for the most part. I mean, it looks a lot cleaner and brighter compared to the VF5R. One of the biggest changes for this stage is that, if you remember in VF5R, there was a group of people sitting on the floor. Well, that's not the case here in this one. I guess it was removed because of the safety of the crowd, I guess? I don't know, I'm looking way too much into this. There are a lot of banner flags surrounding the arena this time around, which is more compared to the previous version. There's really not much I can say about this stage because aside from the brighter setting and the addition of more wrestlers' banner flags, that's actually about it, as a matter of fact, because, well, again, there's not much of a difference in this stage compared to this one and R. The music for the stage is just as intense as it was in R, and honestly, I feel like it, again, captures the fighting spirit of a sumo wrestler like Taka. So it wouldn't matter either way. I have said this so many times in this video, but once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But how did Sumo Ring evolve in R.E.V.O? Sumo Ring in VF5 R.E.V.O is probably the most definitive version between the three. It's not too bright compared to Final Showdown, it's not too dark compared to R, it's just right. The first thing that you see when the match begins is a big Yokozuna trophy as well as the colorful banners of each wrestler's names. From a distance, you can see the two taiko drums from each side and a large crowd of people in the background, which is surrounding the entire arena. And like I said, this is massive on the inside. It seems that there are more names on the electric scoreboard this time around, which is more than what it was previously in Final Showdown R. And again, more banners. You can see them as well. There are more colorful banners in the background. From this side, between the two taiko drums as well as the banner flags, you can also get to see the sake barrels in the background as well, with the biggest one right in the middle. The music for this stage is high intensity. It is the true meaning of fighting spirit between two sumos. And honestly, it is fast, it is furious, it is aggressive, it is tough, and it really fits this mood really well. I feel like R.E.V.O's version of Sumo Ring is arguably the best one ever. And you know what? Let's get right into it. Well, thankfully the good news is that I don't have to worry about any vanilla stages. However, I do still have to talk about my favorite stages for Taka. So, my favorite stages about to go to, I would say, R.E.V.O at number 1, Final Showdown number 2, and R number 3. And as for music, I guess, you know what? Probably the same thing. R.E.V.O number 1, Final Showdown number 2, and R number 3. Hey guys, this is future Kazama here, and well, so first things first, at the time of the recording, I have recorded this way before I've read the producer letter from CJ Aoki. But it turns out there was something about this stage that I just learned, and well, I figured we should talk about it. So, first things first, the first thing we talked about was Akira stage, which was statues, and I've already mentioned Mu, which means, nothingness. But it turns out there was more to that story, and it seems that a designer asked, what character should we put on there, and he decided to use Mu as a nod to Murio, meaning free, which the entire development team liked the idea, so they included it. Now, as for Taka stage, there's another hidden story that I didn't realize, and this has been
around. So first things first, we already know about the banners from traditional Sumo Nobori, which displays the names of wrestlers. So, one thing I didn't realize upon reading it, it turns out that they suggested playful versions of the staff members' names as placeholders, which was so funny that they kept it in the game later on. So, yeah, that happened, and I just learned about it. And if you're wondering, yes, well, actually, yes, excuse me, yes, there's a lot of names, but no, unfortunately, Aoki's name was not used. But that's a little bit of a tidbit. I know you guys wanted to point that out in the comment section, but a reminder, I've been working on this video for a year, so that's all I gotta say. Anyway, back to the video.
ごたくはいい。来い。
Making his debut in Virtua Fighter 5R, Jean Kujo was a childhood friend of Leon. During their summer school vacation in France, both friends agreed to have a friendly sparring session at their place. Leon showed up on the day of the event, but Jean was nowhere to be found. It was then later revealed that he was kidnapped and brainwashed by Judgment 6. Years later, during the 5th World Fighting Tournament, Jean entered as a way to prove his worth after Go lost to Jackie in the previous tournament. His first target was someone he hadn't seen in years, his childhood friend Leon. As the only new character in Virtua Fighter 5R, Jean's stage comes from an existing stage that was console exclusive at the time during VF5 Vanilla. What is it, you ask? Well, let's take a look. While Jean wasn't in Virtua Fighter 5, this stage was. This is the Dojo stage from the console exclusive version of Virtua Fighter 5, only found in PS3 and 360. Back in the day, we couldn't pick a stage for training mode. This was our default stage automatically, whether it's free mode or basically a command time attack, or even command training. This was our default stage for training mode. That is default stage for training mode. The stage itself is a gym, which is possibly operated by Judgment 6 themselves, and well, there's a lot to see here. I mean, there's a lot of workout equipment, from punching bags in the background, some mats. There's a lot to go around. Up top, you can see the banner for the World Fighting Tournament, as well as the sponsors that's sponsoring it. Of course, by Judgment 6. Who else? And on top right here, we can see the banner for the World Fighting Tournament matches, as well as Battle for the Virtual Fighter. So basically, it's going through a pay-per-view situation, which is live on VF.tv, which is, by the way, a real service. If you look at the floor, you can see the logos for Virtua Fighter 5, Sega, the AM2 logo, as well as Judgment 6. Basically, I thought that was pretty cool. And mind you, this stage comes in 3 different types. The one that you're seeing right now is the traditional open stage by default. This is the half-fence version of this stage, and the corners of the fence are basically red and blue combined altogether. And this is the full fence version of this stage. You can probably tell by the fact that the ring size has changed based on different versions, and well, that is actually the case here. It is supposed to match what they represent. And that's not all. If you're playing this on Versus mode, well, this stage also has different alternatives between the open stage, the half fence stage, and the full fence stage. And you know what? They all look just as good. I will say, however, the music for both these stages, the Dojo version and the other one, they're both subtle yet energetic. And honestly, I feel like it is a good practice stage. It is a good training stage to use back in the day. But sometimes it kind of leaves it kind of feels generic if you catch my drift. However, the good news is that this stage does get a glow up, and this is where Jean comes in. The Dojo stage in Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla console release finally gets an official release with the training room stage in VF5R. Of course, this is now Jean's permanent stage going forward. And as a result, there's really not much I can say about this because it is the same stage as it was in VF5 Vanilla. Well, the console version that is. The only difference is that now it's a full and open stage. And as you saw in the opening round, well, the cage now opens from the ceiling instead of retracting from the bottom, like in Wolf Stage. And like I said before, whether the round begins with an open ring or a full fence, it is completely random. Okay, there are some differences. I mean, there's more bleachers, and there's another ring in the background. Of course, I didn't even talk about the cars in the background as well, which I think there were also in the previous game. I have to look at the footage, but who knows? You can rewind if you can. But yeah, other than that, there's really not much I can say about this stage because, again, it is similar to what it was in Vanilla. The only difference is, again, it's a full and open stage. I will say, however, that the music is pretty hardcore, and I really love it. Like, oh my goodness, it is so heavy metal to the max. Like, oh my goodness, so high paced, so energetic. It's everything you could think of. Training Room didn't change much from Vanilla, except for the stage type, but it is still a solid stage overall. Music and everything. But the question is, how did this stage evolve in Final Showdown? Training Room from Final Showdown gets a much needed change in terms of the actual ring itself, but everything else is still the same as before. The ring color as well as the cages itself are now red and white compared to green and white from the previous versions. On top of that, the Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown logo is still there alongside with the Sega AM2 logo as well. And mind you, it's on both sides. And if you look a little closely back there, the Judgment 6 logo is also there as well, but because of the cage obscuring its path, just take my word on it. But yeah, like I said before, the stage, it's the same as before. The only difference is the ring color has been changed in both the ground and the walls as well. And the music for the stage is actually pretty good, so you know what? That's worth talking about. The music is actually pretty good. It's actually just as fast-paced as it was in R, but in its own destructive way. Overall, I would say that the Training Room stage in VF5 Final Showdown is improved compared to R and Vanilla, but the question remains, how did the stage evolve in R.E.V.O? Training Room in R.E.V.O is more the same, but more of the different at the same time. First things first, let's take a look at the ring itself. The ring itself now has a new logo, which is GFC, and on the walls, or the cages for that matter, the padding has Sea Muscle as their sponsors. And of course, you know Sea Muscles because they were in the arena stage in R.E.V.O Blaze. On top of that, the GFC logos are also on the punching bags as well, which you can see right there in the background. In the previous game, you saw that the ring here was red and white, while the background was more like a green and white. Well, here in the background of this version, it turns out that they now match together. Believe me, Judgment 6 has the money to do remodeling for the stage, so you know what? Good for them. In fact, their budget is so big, they actually got weights now added to the background as well, on the right side of the stage, that is. It looks like they had removed the mats from the previous version, and well, it is replaced with bleachers as well as crates, and it looks like there's another pathway outside as well. So that is another interesting change as well. And of course, there's more punching bags as well as bleachers. So you know what? This training room is basically remodeled because guess what? Judgment 6 has that. They have that budget for it. And you know what? They use that budget really well. The music for the stage, while not as fast-paced as Final Showdown and R, it is still moderately paced well, and it is really good. I mean, it is it's still energetic, and it still keeps that training mode vibe to it. I will admit, however, that Training Room in R.E.V.O kind of scaled back on some things, but it is still good in its own right. And you know what? I think it's time to talk about my favorites. I know Sean wasn't in Vanilla, but I'm going to include the stage anyway. In terms of best stage, I would say Final Showdown at number 1, R.E.V.O at number 2, R at number 3, and Vanilla at number 4. As for music, I'd say R at number 1, R.E.V.O at number 2, Final Showdown at number 3, and once again, Vanilla at number 4.
残念だったな、凡人くん。
An android created by Judgment 6, Dural served as the final boss since the first game. She was previously Kage's mother in the first 2 games, but was later rescued by her son, only to transform back to Dural once again since the cure for her illness had the opposite results. However, the organization designed more Dural models beginning with VIA 3, and it continued throughout VIA 4 and the current game VIA 5, where Vanessa was captured for the development of their latest project known as V-Dural. Dural stages tend to be quite unique throughout the years, and Virtua Fighter 5 is no exception. It seems that there are 4 variations of her stages with VIA 5 Vanilla, R, and Final Showdown, but in VIA 5 R.E.V.O, she gets a completely brand new stage. And we're going to take a look at the first one right now. Dural's stage in Virtua Fighter 5 is none other than Sanctuary. Back then, it was originally an open stage. One thing about Dural's stage in general with Virtua Fighter 5 is that she has a special intro for hers, and this is basically for every version of VF5 that you see here, including the new ones. The stage itself is very Colosseum-like, as if it came from a Greek or Roman-like Colosseum that you see here. So many columns, so many ruins. There's a lot to see here. Also worth mentioning is that she has 4 various versions of the stage. The one you see here takes place during the morning. This version of the stage takes place around the afternoon, which is possibly cloudy, pretty much a little darker than usual. This version of the stage takes place during the evening, which means the sun is beginning to set down, and pretty much it looks like things are, getting a little darker than usual. And last but not least, this version of the stage takes place at night, where the stars shine bright. And this is actually one of my favorite ones so far, out of the 4. Keep in mind that even though that there are 4 different versions of Sanctuary in VF5 Vanilla, and this is going to be the same thing with R and Final Showdown, these versions are randomized, so you're not going to know which one you're going to get. The music for this stage is quite sinister, mainly because of how it starts with the organs. And of course, you're going to hear the organs a lot in this stage. And honestly, it is a good theme. I'm not going to lie, it is really good. Sanctuary is a solid stage for Dural in VF5, but it gets a lot wilder by the time we get to VF5R. Sanctuary in VF5R went from an open stage to now a single wall stage, and much like the previous game, this one has 4 variations. The first one that you see right now is the one covered in water, and honestly, if you look around the stage itself, yeah, it is covered in water and some pillars are floating, and the wall itself right here has a unique design to it. Be mindful that the water variation of the stage acts more like deep mountain instead of river, because there is a ledge right there, so be careful not to get accidentally wrung out. The second version of Sanctuary is completely snowing, and you can see it is, cloudy. It's a lot of flurries. It's not heavy snow, it's just light snow. That's all it is, and basically it's just standard ring out conditions, nothing out of the ordinary. This version of Sanctuary is basically thunder and lightning and heavy clouds, but no rain, which is normal. I mean, nothing much out of the ordinary as well, but it does create that intense vibe in fights. And lastly, this variation of Sanctuary is mostly foggy. Like, there's a lot of mist, yet the skies are similar to what it was in vanilla, but it's really interesting to say because, like, this version of the stage is completely shrouded in mystery of what it's trying to be. The music for the stage isn't as sinister compared to vanilla, but it does have that fast-paced metal that comes in. And honestly, it's okay. I mean, it just doesn't feel like it matches Dural's vibe, but it is pretty much a basis for it for future games. I think this version of Sanctuary started to become very more creative as time goes by, beginning with VF5R. But the question remains though, how did the stage evolve in Final Showdown? Sanctuary and Final Showdown not only went above and beyond with this one, but it also retained the 3 variations that actually were in VF5R, plus added a brand new exclusive one that we're about to jump into in a minute. This version of Sanctuary is pure Armageddon. You are fighting on a higher area in the ring, and like I said, if you get ring out, it is a long fall. So there's a lot of things happening in the background, from meteors falling from the sky into the lava, the mountains on fire, there's so much happening in this stage, and it is incredible. There's also a solar eclipse in the background, which is insane. Honestly, I gotta be honest, this is arguably one of my favorite variations of Sanctuary for Final Showdown, mainly because of this version right here. Heck, there's also a volcano erupting in the background as well. Like, seriously, look at that. Of course, the snow variation, the thunderstorm variation, and the water variations are still in the game, which is basically, if it ain't broke, they'll fix it. I've said it multiple times in this video. But there is a 5th variation of this stage, and I wish this wasn't locked behind a single player mode. So, if you're playing License Challenge on the console version, or if you're playing Knockout Trial Specials on the arcade version, this version of Sanctuary basically takes place in outer space, everything is floating, and it is just a standard open stage. No single wall stage, it's just a standard open stage. And you can see Earth, you can see the moon, a lot of floating debris. There's a lot to unpack here, and let me tell you, this is an incredible stage. But the music for this stage is the right amount of sinister, heavy metal hardcore, fast-paced action. I just love it. It's actually one of my favorite tracks of Final Showdown thus far. I gotta admit, Sanctuary in Final Showdown is pretty much the definitive version of this stage thus far, and honestly, it is incredible from start to finish. The 5 variations is amazing, but the question remains though, how did the Dural stage evolve in R.E.V.O? In Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O, Dural gets a completely brand new stage, which is none other than Genesis. This takes some inspiration from her VF4 stage, The Hangar, but with a modern twist. Genesis is pretty much Judgment 6's secret laboratory, and there is a lot of things going on. Case in point, everything's mechanical. You can see that there is a wall right there with a certain logo that I cannot make out for the rest of me. And honestly, there's a lot to unpack here. Well, not much to unpack, but you'll see why I get to it. There are cameras everywhere in the stage. And I was testing this out earlier, but if you move with the camera, like if you actually move, you can see that the cameras in the background, they kind of move with you. It is kind of weird. I had to look at it multiple times to make sure I'm not going crazy, but yeah, the cameras actually move. It's a thing. There are several Dural clones everywhere, even in the back of the stage and in the front. And let's be real here, Judgment 6 has been mass producing these things for the sake of creating the ultimate weapon. It is normal to them. Again, I am not kidding. I was really testing this out to see if the cameras follow you, or it looks like they move away from me actually, but yeah, it is a little attention to detail right there. Like, the cameras do kind of move. Like, they move when you move, or they move away from you, as a matter of fact, and well, it is a small attention to detail, but it's there. As for the music for the stage, it is super sinister, and it is incredible. It really matches the flow of the stage really well, and it also matches the evilness that is basically Dural and Judgment 6 as a whole. Genesis is one of my favorite stages in R.E.V.O, and honestly, I don't mind single wall stages at all. It's actually pretty good, and this is actually a nice callback to her VF4 stage, as I previously mentioned. And you know what? Let's just get right to it. Now, if we're going to talk about my favorite Dural stage, I'm pretty sure y'all know what my answers are going to be. So my favorite stages from Dural would be, number 1 would be Final Showdown, number 2 would be R.E.V.O, number 3 R, and number 4 Vanilla. And you know what? Same thing with the music. Honestly, yeah, same thing with music, so nothing I gotta say about that. Okay, so I wasn't going to add this stage onto the video, but I figure a lot of people were going to talk about it, so I'd say, why not? Let's go ahead and talk about the retro stage. Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O added one more stage to the game, and this was around since Ultimate Showdown. That stage is none other than Retro. True to its name, the Retro stage is actually Jackie's stage from the first Virtua Fighter game, completely rebuilt from the ground up. From the actual ring out itself, the background, and then everything else in between. Basically, this is the Green Hill Zone of Virtua Fighter stages because it is the first stage of the game. You fight Jackie as early as round 1, and basically it makes a lot of sense if you look at it. Fun fact, this stage actually appeared in Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution first as a returning stage, and it was unlockable through quest mode. This stage only appears in offline versus mode only, and it is rarely used in tournaments because, well, it's not banned or anything, it's just nobody cares about this stage. Or, better yet, that's alright. What I'm trying to say is not many people use the stage because it's just, well, there. This stage is part of the legendary DLC pack, which is the first pack you see in the VF5 Ultimate Showdown release back in 2021. And basically it comes with VF1 costumes, VF1 UI, music from past Virtua Fighter games including VF Kids and Quest, and many more. Honestly, I am glad that this stage made a comeback again in VF5 R.E.V.O. And you know what? I would say it makes a great training stage because honestly, it is just, well, it's a classic throwback if you want to practice. Not to mention, I could easily just go ahead and pretty much say this. I hope the stage comes back in VF6. Yeah, I said it. I hope the stage comes back in VF6. And now we've come to the part of the video where I talk about my go-to stages. As you all know, I am a Go main, so pretty much these are basically stages that I would definitely recommend picking based on what I feel comfortable using from best to worst. And don't worry, only 9 out of 10 stages are actually pretty good. At number 1, we had the breakable full fence stages. These are basically the stages I personally go to because, well, I have so many options to work with. I could either use wall combos, or I could just break the walls and go for a ring out. At number 2, we have the single wall stages. I actually like these because it is actually a modern twist of a classic open stage from the past VF games. The only difference is now that I have a wall to work with, and of course I have ring out options. So you know what? It is basically great, and I hope it appears in the next game. At number 3, we have the breakable half fence stages. Just like the breakable full fence stages, I can do the same thing here, but now I can launch my opponents over the half fence for a possible ring out. And most of the time it's pretty hilarious. You have seen them before in my ring out compilation videos, which I definitely need to make more of. At number 4, we have the full open stages. Now, this type of stage is pretty much what I like to call the best of both worlds because one round it could be a traditional open stage, and another round it could be just a full fence stage. And honestly, this is one of my favorite stages to go for as well because I have so many options to work with. You just gotta hope to God that round 1 starts with the stage of your choice. Or better yet, the stage type of your choice, that is. At number 5, we have the Octagon stage. Now, these type of stages basically is like this. I have more walls to work with, and it is slightly smaller, but you know what? I have a lot to work with because of the wall staggers, and it definitely makes for one big nasty combos. At number 6, we have the full fence stages. These type of stages are pretty much your run-of-the-mill wall stages, so basically I can do wall combos and stuff. But if I don't want to do like any ring outs, then this would be my go-to. At number 7, we have half fence stages. Basically, just like full fence stages, they're sturdy, but still, I can definitely ring somebody out. The only thing is that it has to be on a counter hit launcher in order for me to ring somebody out. And honestly, like I said before, they can be hilarious. At number 8, we have the traditional open stages. These stages have been around since the beginning of the series, and honestly, I still love them to this day, but as a Go main, I need my walls. But still, I do love a ring out, so pretty much, you know me, I'll still pick it regardless, but again, I still need my walls, man. At number 9, we have the low fence stages. These are, again, like a modern twist on a classic open stage, but since it prevents you from accidentally walking out the ring, honestly, I feel like this stage itself they're fine. It's just that I still prefer the classic open stages where accidental ring outs can happen. Although you can still accidentally jump yourself out of the ring, which has happened before. And at number 10, we have the rectangle stage, also known as the toggle stage. Now, why did I rate this one very low at the bottom? Well, that's because I have bad experience with taco stages.
Oh god! Oh no! No! Why did I do that? Oh! Oh! No! No! God damn it! No! Why did I do that again? I was trying to fucking roll, not grab! Now, I'm gonna say this right now. There's no way in hell I can get another taco stage, right? There's no way in hell he'd give me another taco stage. You bitch! I was just kidding! Oh my god! Taco!
God, I hate taco stages. Virtua Fighter 5 stages don't get enough credit. I mean, they are more than just a strategy of doing ring outs and wall combos. Each of them tells a story of a character's background and the reason why they are there in the first place. And with Virtua Fighter Crossroads currently under development, I'm curious to know what kind of stages we will see in the next game. So far, I've seen a couple of them, and I gotta admit, they look great. Side note, who is the Bakunawa killer? You know what? That's for another video. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, here's to the 20 years of Virtua Fighter 5. Here's to the upcoming entry with Virtua Fighter Crossroads. And also, here's to the true return of the series. All I gotta say is #PlayMoreVF. Hey guys, thank you for watching the finale of this video. As a matter of fact, thank you for watching the series overall. And before we end this video, I want to give a huge thank you to the following people. Starting off with Babe Ruthless for helping me with some ideas, as well as Corey Maru for some advice as well. Thank you all for watching. I can finally move on to other videos. And speaking of which, see you guys in the next video. Peace.